So we had a pretty great day in the stock market today, guys. To end off the week, we had the S&P up 0.7%, the Dow up 0.5%, we had the NASDAQ 100 up 1%, and the Russell up 0.1%. So we got to break down some stocks, some charts, my thoughts on the markets, plus more. So sit back, relax, take a sip of your coffee. I'm actually drinking a double espresso right now, 5:30 p.m. Call me crazy, but that's what I'm doing right now, guys. Make sure to hit the like button. Check out my Patreon as well. Link down below if you guys want my buy, sells, call outs, morning update videos. And don't forget to get your 50 free bucks from M1 Finance. Also linked down below. And with that being said, let's get right into it. So like I said, pretty solid day across the board today to end off the week. And based on this 10-day chart, you can see it for yourselves, guys. The markets are breaking out. SPY is breaking out above the moving averages, and it took out the wedge and the high point from the 10th of November, which was 2 days ago on Wednesday, which all of these are great signs that the sell-off, as of now, is ending, right? This is pretty much what I'm seeing. The breakout of the wedge, moving averages, the highs from 2 days ago. This is a very good sign on SPY, right? Same thing with QQQ. Let me pop it up. You guys can see we're trading out of the moving averages. We broke out of the wedge, and now we're actually about to break out. We didn't break out of the highs from Wednesday like we did on SPY, but we're pretty much there. You know, if this breaks out of 395, I think QQQ, triple Q, if we want to call it that, I'm sure a lot of you guys know it as that as well. This is going to be off to the races, probably back to at least 398, 400. You know, that's where I think we're going to be heading. So I'm going to put my alert at 395 when it comes to QQQ. We'll watch what it does next week. So mark is at or above 395. If I pop up SPY, where should I put my alert here? Maybe let's put it at 468 on SPY. Mark is at or above 468. And let's take a look at the VIX, right? The VIX had to have been down. Yeah, it's down 7% on the day. We hit a high of 19 2 days ago. That was on Wednesday. And now you guys can see yesterday, Thursday, today being Friday, both of those days, the past 2 days, we've been cooling off a bit on the VIX, and pulling up the 4-hour chart for the VIX. It seems like we're going back, at least as of now. Things can change, but as of now, guys, seems like we're going back to 15, maybe 14 on the VIX. So at this point, the markets, they sold off for a couple of days, and it looks like we're breaking out. I don't know if it's going to last, but as of now, that is what I'm seeing. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section. Make sure to smash the like button if you guys had a great week this week, if you enjoy the content, and if you want to help me out when it comes to the YouTube algorithm, hit the like button, drop me a comment, and let's talk a little bit now about some stocks I'm looking at. Number one is PayPal, ticker symbol PYPL. And I've noticed a lot of consolidation on PayPal the past 3-4 days, and today it actually broke out, whatever you want to call it. It went up 3% and went up $6 per share. And actually, let me not say it broke out, because it's still clearly downtrending. But what I'm kind of saying here is it consolidated a bit, and now we're starting to move back up, I guess, in a sense, and breaking the highs from yesterday, which were 208, and the day before at about 208, and we ended up going to about 210 today and closed above 208, which is a very good sign that we're holding old resistance as new support heading into the close. And you all know at this point, PayPal, maybe not all of you know, but PayPal is a stock that I have been buying as of late. You know, I bought some recently, a couple of times. All you guys on my Patreon know you get all my moves if you sign up to the Patreon. I've been buying ever since that last earnings report a couple of days ago. You know, the stock got hit, I started buying more. And at this point in time, I think it's very oversold. We're also seeing, a bit of a bullish divergence with the RSI. And if I pull up the yearly chart, what we're noticing is that consolidation that I showed you guys on the 5-day chart. That's actually occurring right towards the bottom here of the downwards channel that PayPal's been trading well within over the past almost year at this point, 9 months to 10 months, close to a year. So Is it safe to say that we're oversold? Yeah, it's pretty safe to say that. But does that mean that we're going to rip all the way back up to 275 towards the top of the channel? Not necessarily, especially because we haven't really gotten that push to fill the gap towards that 240, 230 level, which we just were literally a week ago. So I'm hopeful that we will start pushing up, but we're not seeing it quite yet, and I'm going to be keeping my eyes on it very closely, not only next week, but for the next couple of weeks. I think PayPal, it could start moving up. Granted, if the stock market collapses, let's say SPY, QQQ, they sell off a bit more, PayPal's probably going to go to the 180s, 190s, which I'll buy more at those levels. But let's say markets continue trucking along into the holidays, I think PayPal is going to bounce back. So keep your eyes on PayPal. Caesars is another one. CZR is the ticker here. Caesars Entertainment is one that I really like, especially if we look at the longer-term charts. Here on the yearly chart, you can see what I'm talking about, right? We hit a high recently about a month and a half ago at about $119, and now since then we've pulled back to $100. So essentially we sold off 16%, pretty close to a bear market, and today we went up $4, 4%. We bounced up, and you guys can clearly see volume is kicking up and buyers are stepping in right around the 180 moving average on this yearly chart, which you guys can see on this yearly chart. The 180 SMA has held as support. So if I pull up the 4-hour chart, guys, to get a little bit more, into the nitty-gritty here, what we're noticing is, yes, we are bouncing. We're seeing buyers step in on the yearly chart and on this time frame, but we're actually still within a downtrend, and you can see that on the 20-day chart as well. This could potentially be a bull trap, so I'm going to set my alert at $108, maybe $110, and if we start breaking out of this main moving average on the 20-day chart, the 180 moving average, into 110, 108 at least, that could be a sign of a reversal, and at that point, the downtrend will break, and then we will continue the uptrend that we saw on that yearly chart. But again, we got to break out of this 20-day downtrend. We'll see if that happens. So set your alerts on Caesars right now. And the next one I'm looking at is Facebook, ticker symbol FB. Well, now it's known as Meta Platforms, and I believe that officially changes. The ticker changes in December, if I remember correctly, and I forget exactly what the ticker is going to be. I think it would be pretty cool if the ticker was literally Meta, META, 4-letter word. A lot of tickers are 4 letters, so that might make sense for them to do that. I'm not sure if that is going to be the ticker. Let me know in the comments if you guys know what it is. I missed it. It's probably already out in the news at this point, but I'm forgetting. Let me know in the comments. But overall, Facebook did well today. Went up $13, up 4%, which makes sense considering the NASDAQ 100, the tech-heavy index, did very well today. It went up over 1% like we talked about. Geez, guys, like we talked about in the beginning of this video before I just had a voice crack, right? So at this point, Facebook is trading above both moving averages on the 4-hour chart. We're noticing a golden cross, and on top of that, the biggest thing I'm noticing is an inverse head and shoulders. We have the left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder, and with today's move, like I said, we're pretty much confirming the bounce on top of the neckline, and the right shoulder is trying to make a move. And we're trading above the moving averages, which is great. So I have my alert set at 350. And quite honestly, if this breaks 345 into 350, that is where I think the next big leg up is coming, which would be, you guessed it, the right shoulder in the inverse head and shoulders pattern, which could get Facebook or Meta. I'm going to have to get used to calling it Meta, guys. It could get Meta up to about 365, maybe 370. Heck, call me crazy. Maybe we go back to 380. So I'm going to have my alerts at 350. I might as well put another one at 345, and I probably will go long if we start breaking those levels. I think that's going to be very attractive. So watch out for Meta, Facebook, whatever you want to call it. We got to get used to calling it Meta, though, guys, since they are changing it. Micron, MU. Let's talk about Micron. This one's been doing pretty well recently. It's trading at a multi-month high. Last time it was in the mid-high 70s. Well, let me say high 70s because it was mid 70s recently. But last time it was at 77, 78, which is where it is right now. And by the way, it had a 3% green day today, which is solid. Last time we were here was in the middle of August. So what? 3 months ago, pretty much. And this is a very good technical breakout. You know, we're trading above the downwards channel, right? We're breaking out of the moving averages. We have been. And on top of that, we're noticing a clear-cut golden cross. Very good sign that, you know, Micron wants to start continuing, or, I mean, it's been breaking out, but it's a good sign that it wants to continue this breakout. So don't get it twisted, right? We are a bit overbought, but still, we can get maybe a potential dip buy within the overall breakout. So one spot to watch out for on Micron would probably be $75. You know, if we cool off a bit, let's say hypothetically next week we run up to $80, which would be very overbought. We cool off a bit. A spot of consolidation that I'm looking at for Micron would be around $75. That was the resistance from the end of August, pretty much all throughout September. And that old resistance should act as new support. And at that point, we could maybe get a dip buy within the overall breakout. And some upwards targets I have from there would be $83. Right, $83 being the high from the beginning of August, followed by $85, $86, which was the high point from the end of June. So it seems like Micron, although it's still very beaten down, it seems like it's finally starting to turn up, turn to the upside, which is a very, very good sign. So let me take a sip of my double espresso here, guys. Call me crazy. I might be up all night. But the funny thing is, I feel like I can drink these and go to bed right after if I wanted to. Or maybe not. I don't know. Am I the only one? Am I crazy, guys? Let me know in the comments. But, yeah, keep your eyes out on Micron. The next one I'm looking at, which is pulling back, and it's starting to get into my sweet spot, but I'm not pulling the trigger yet, is Voyager, ticker symbol VYGVF. And if you guys were in my Patreon, you know that I played this pretty well. I did leave some money on the table, which is fine. We can never predict the top or the bottom, and we're never going to get all the money in a trade. But I did buy it at $14.71. Sold it with a limit order at $17, and I typically do that. With large cap stocks, guys, you really don't need to use limit orders, especially if you're trading an Apple. There's just so much volume, liquidity. But if you're trading an OTC stock, which Voyager is an OTC stock, not as much volume, there's not as much, liquidity. Sometimes, especially in the after hours, guys, be careful after hours. I like using limit orders, especially when I'm trying to get out, which in this case, again, I got out at $17, and then I saw it run up all the way to about 20, 21, which is okay. It happens, guys. You can't catch every single penny on the dollar. It would be nice, though, right? But it's just not possible. And now it's finally pulling back like we called out recently. I made a post about this, going over how it was towards the bottom, or the top rather, of the downwards channel, and it was just honestly very overbought when it was at $20. So now we're actually getting that selling. You guys can see we hit 21. Now we're trading back at 17, and quite honestly, I think it's not done selling yet. I think we could go maybe 13, 14, which I'm kind of hoping for, because at that point, I'm just going to buy my shares back that I originally had at $14.71. If it gets to $13, $14 again, I'm just going to buy them back. So I'm going to set my alert on Voyager. I'm going to do a mark is at or below alert. I'll probably put one at 1650. We'll watch what it does if it falls under that point. And these stocks move quick. The OTC smaller cap stocks move quick. So you guys have to be, if you want to trade these, which trade at your own risk as always, you guys have to be diligent. You have to have price targets and act quickly. That's what I'm going to be doing with Voyager. So let's pop up Apple. Apple AAPL, it looks like it wants to break out of this wedge on the 4-hour chart, but we're not doing it quite yet. Today we had a pretty good day, up $2. We closed a penny under 150, and we went up 1.4%. Pretty solid day, but as you guys can see, we're still trading under the resistance of the wedge, which needs to break. It needs to break, and I'm going to set my alert right now, 151. If 151 breaks, which, again, it needs to do that, maybe we start gunning for those all-time highs at 157, especially if the market is going back to SPY and QQQ. Actually, let's pull up QQQ. Especially if QQQ starts gunning for 400 again, 400 plus, Apple's probably going to break out at that point, especially if this breakout in the markets that we saw today continues over the next couple of days. I think Apple's going to break out. So I have my alert set at 151. And another one that I like here, which we haven't talked about on the channel in months, I made a video on this maybe over a year ago, honestly. If you go on my YouTube channel or just go to the search bar and type in Stasser Foot Locker, I have a video on Foot Locker going over more of a fundamental breakdown. And I really haven't talked about it since then because I haven't been in Foot Locker for a while. I actually bought it, and I don't remember exactly my entry points, but I bought in, I think it was in the 40s, maybe. It was after the crash. I bought in at 40. Well, actually, maybe it was mid-30s, honestly. It might have been mid-30s I bought in, and then I sold it. Oh, geez, another voice crack. Gosh, guys. Maybe I bought it mid-30s, sold it in the 40s, watched it run up to 65, and now it's been pulling back a bit. 65 it hit. It went back to 45, so it dropped about 30%, bear market right there, and now we've been recovering. I mean, Foot Locker, you guys can see it. It hit 45. They paid the dividend, and ever since then, it's been ripping back up. Now we're trading above both moving averages on the 4-hour chart. We're noticing a golden cross as well. And we are a little bit overextended, but still, if we maybe get a pullback within the overall breakout above the moving averages here, this could be a pretty solid entry. And now that I'm looking at this, we do have earnings in 1 week from now. So next Friday, we have earnings. Be mindful of that. But overall, the reversal process in Foot Locker could just be getting started, which is a very good sign. And I was looking at the P on this thing, guys, the price to earnings ratio. It's 5. It's literally a 5 right now for the trailing 12 months. Let me double check that. I don't want to give false info, but from what I remember, it was literally a 5, which is just like it's like it's a crazy low valuation. They're almost pricing in bankruptcy, and there's a debate, is Foot Locker genuinely an undervalued stock, a value play, or is it a value trap? That's a big debate right now. Well, not really, but it's a debate in general with low P stocks. You have to dive in and look deeper to really understand whether or not it's a legitimate value play or if it's a value trap. Because sometimes stocks have Ps that are very low, and you think, oh, this is a great deal, I'm going to buy into it. Then all of a sudden, the company goes down the gutter, and then you're screwed, right? But I don't think necessarily this is a value trap. But it's something to keep an eye on and understand with companies that are very low P, like Foot Locker, which, again, it's a 5P. I mean, it doesn't get much lower than that. And their dividend's about 2%, which I think they reinstated because I'm pretty sure they cut their dividend, if I remember correctly, during the pandemic, or at least they lowered it a lot. And now they're boosting it back up. Actually, you guys can see it here. During the crash, they paid a 40-cent dividend, and then they went to 15 cents. Now they're boosting it back to 20, 30 cents. So the dividend's coming back, which is great news if you guys are, investing in it for dividend purposes. So overall, that's pretty much it for this video, guys. We talked about Foot Locker. We talked about PayPal, Caesars, Facebook, or Meta. Meta, guys. I got to get used to that. Micron, Voyager, and Apple. So let me know your thoughts. I hope you guys really had a great week. Drop me a comment down below. Make sure to hit the like button as well. And don't forget to subscribe. Some of you guys are not subscribed. Make sure to hit that button, the red button, and the notification bell so you're notified every time I do make a video. And check out my Patreon. If you guys want to work closer with me, get all my buys, sells, call-outs, morning update videos. You have more access to me throughout the day. Literally every move I'm making in the markets, I post on Patreon in real time. So check it out. Link down below, or you guys can go to StasserFest.com/Patreon. Make sure to also get your $50 from M1 Finance, which is limited time. All you have to do is use my link, deposit $100. We each get $50, and you guys can do the same thing with Webull. Use my link, deposit $100, and we each get 2 stocks up to $1,600. So I'll catch you all in the next video. Thanks for watching. Again, as always, keep crushing the markets. I got to clear my throat. Jeez, guys. Crush the markets. Have a great weekend. Stay safe out there. You guys know the whole spiel at the end, the outro. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.